Hello, welcome to a page turn of the fourth signature in my yearly Halloween journal. This is the first year that I actually have had a cover for these signatures, and I thought I'd share it with you now. As you can see, I found this scarf that I thought might be fun, and if my husband and I do anything on Thursday, I plan on putting this around my neck. I think it will make a statement. But this can go, and I'm going to share this cover first. This is a placemat that I've cut to work with the 9 by 12 papers folded in half, and this year I painted, collaged, stenciled, and covered with Collage Podge. As you can see, it is safe, but not shiny and not sticky the way Mod Podge is. So that cover, I didn't make too much of a fuss. I had a little bit of fun on the front, and I had this I made a few years ago, and I decided this would be pretty on the front cover, and a little bit of vintage Halloween, and a contemporary one, and I've had some of this crepe paper, and this I just added, and all I did once on the inside was to put down some paper that I got at front and back, some paper that I got at, I believe it was A.C. Moore. And so this book has the Halloween signature for 2016, 17, 18, and 19. I'm going to start first with the current one because many of you might not be interested in seeing me go through the entire 4 years in the journal. And if not, then after the newest one is completed, then you can get on with your day. So this is the signature for 2019. You've seen me, or not, make this cover of this signature, and I glued 2 pieces of the of this paper to a piece of A.C. Moore's Halloween paper to the back, and so then I cut out a window, and I glued on some napkins that I've been hoarding over the years, and put a little bit of collage down, and laid in a piece of vellum. And oh, I enjoyed making this frame using my handy dandy brushes and distress ink. And so we have the cover, and on the inside of this I covered the back because of all the doings that were showing in through the front. I found this piece of gingham black, orange and black paper, and so let's begin. I made a pocket using another piece of one of those 6x6 pads that were on sale, and some pictures of vintage Halloween carriers that the kids used to carry house to house when they trick-or-treated. And I admitted the truth, I had one like this, so now you've got an idea. And here are two tags that I made. I used some of the paper on the back cover here and used up some of the pieces that I had, and here's a little bit of lace seam binding. And I actually remembered to use this washi, and I added one of the hand-painted leaves onto it, and so that one is in, and I love the dimensionality of that one. And here is a rather plain one that I left some lines on for journaling, and a little bit of bling and some ribbon and some Rick Rack. Oh, it was great fun making those two. And then on this page, this I made into a spread on the back of the center spread that already had the stitching from the center. So I decided to, no, I didn't want to use any more of this paper. I wanted to see what I could come up with. And so I painted this paper in layers. First some gesso and then some gray, black, purple, and black cherry stencil and some stamps. And then I tore actually another piece of 6x6 paper. I've had these frames since 2016, and I decided to, instead of hoarding them, to finally start using them a bit. And this is a picture that I cut out. This is a vintage Halloween cat from the 40s. And I decided also to stop hoarding my black feathers. And so I made this, this tag. I want to show a little of the bling and a little bit of this. And here is the center spread that I had done, in which I was finally starting to rediscover mixed media, collage, art, journaling, arting, and I shared this with you in a video, and I decided not to do anything to that because I kind of like it and I like to look at it. So what could I do for this? And I chose a piece of vellum to make a flip, and I attached some contemporary stickers, and I've had this beautiful double-sided satin tape. I think I found this about 4 years ago at least in a antique mall in Asheville, North Carolina. It is so silky and soft, it just is heavenly, and I decided, stop hoarding, Carol. This is the perfect place. And this is a fold-out that I made that I thought would work here if I did a little forcing, and I'm happy that I did. Here is the tag, another one of my cats, and just some simple collaging, and some single-sided satin ribbon. I believe this came in a packaging, so I used that here. And then this piece I invested in, I think, 2 years ago and didn't use. And this is another A.C. Moore in their shelves in which they sell individual sheets. And another piece of that paper framing with, now these are rub-ons. And rub-ons and I, at this size, not so lucky. So I just cut them out and glued them down. I thought, well, one way or another. And a little bit of the mesh bag that I received in Happy Mail. And I use this heavy washi, maybe it is not even washi, maybe it's another sort of tape, but I thought it would hold this down quite nicely. And so I worked in here at layering and collaging, and I used some of the dollar store, Dollar Tree scary stuff that I think went beautifully, laid down nicely. Next, for my next one next year, I'm going to see if I can do about getting this to be gray or black. Why not? Another experiment. I tucked in another one of the feathers here, and so on the back, another piece of edging that I had from ages in a package that I bought 3 years ago. And look at me, I remembered again about the washi, so here that is. And back here we have the back of that painted Halloweenish background, and I had made these. I was going to give them as a gift to, we were sharing at a Halloween party, and I made these, and I stuffed them and so forth to hand out, and I had this one left, and I said, now, how is it that I can make this ghosty into into a pocket, and it worked. Mostly with art glitter glue, but a couple of little hits here and there with Fabri-Tac. And these are white sequins that I used to have with white glass beads, and this tag, this little piece of fabric, and it's glittery fabric. Can you see that? Yes, you can. I was gifted that, so I've been saving that, and no time like the present for using it. This is a piece of lace from Hobby Lobby, and this is the idea that I got for a background. I saw this gingham effect, and I said, oh, let me try this. Let me just at least paint on. So we have gray stripes and purples and orange and a couple of stamps. And then in here, I made this piece as a writing spot with some smaller spots inside. And I do love this tag. It has some rub-on that didn't make it, and some of my shiny black paper that I've been hoarding, and a little piece. This came out of a Halloween magazine a few years ago, and I only kept this one, and I'm hoarding that because I have another piece left over for next year because it has vintage Halloween on it. This is a piece of 6x6 paper. Backed it with some orange, a little bit more of the trim, and in here it went, and in here it went. And I'm quite tickled with the way this background came out. In my mind, I would sometimes rather do this than use the papers if I can, but I certainly do use the papers, and I'm happy to have them. And the back of the signature. I worked this on a video, and I can see the painting, and this was done in just Helter Skelter painting, and I added some black witches hats under there, and I had some of this paper left over, so I made a writing spot. And another tag, and this pretty pumpkin was from I think it was from one of those magazines that showed fall decorations for homes. And so this and this in here, and that's Carol's, oh yes, I never use it, but my name is Carol, my middle name is Anne. My mother just used that because she loved Carol, because I was born in December, and my grandmother's name was Anne. So, and that just slipped out because I literally have forgotten after all these years that my name is Carol Anne. I hope that you have enjoyed sharing this current 2019 signature for this signature journal. And for those of you who are busy or cannot continue or are not interested in seeing my evolution over the years, I'll say goodbye to you now. And for those of you who are staying with me, I'll go back to 2016, and I will try not to be too wordy or too long. This was before, this signature was 2016, and it was before I really was introduced, or even, I think, seriously knew about the existence of junk journals. This was what I called, this was in art journaling. This again is, these are pieces of, 4 pieces of watercolor paper, or it could be mixed media. And I decided to do a tunnel, so I cut each page so that it would end up with, the tunnel would end up with this little girl. Now it's not perfect, but that's okay too. And here is some more of the magazine vintage pieces, and here is my here are some stamps that I've colored in, and here's a stencil and some Carol doodling. Now on this side, oh, I never had that there before. Doesn't that look nice? So I treated this as a spread, more of the same pieces, some more stenciling. I used a sponge to give this effect on the back. I remember that. Some stamping. And this one I decided to change the colors a bit, probably because of the colors up here. But I kind of like them in a strange way for Halloween, probably because this shows through to here. This is stamps. The rest of this is Carol. Here's another one in which the tunnel is getting bigger again. Another piece of the vintage Halloween, and stamping, handmade stencils. I think this is one of the, I think this is when I first made these stencils, and I laid the stencil down and outlined it. Here are Carol doodles, some stamps, a feather stencil, more of the same, another one, stamps and hand-painted leaves, and I just guess I got into being leafy, and some stencils and a Carol flower, and the this back is turning out to be it's quite happy making now that I can see something over here. I shall have to try doing this again. These are fun. These are fun, and they don't have to be about Halloween. They could be, well, my mind is starting to go on my own work. Boy, this is my very favorite in the first year. This is all Carol, the whole background. I decided to just have at it, and it was done on 9/28/2016. In fact, I'm thinking I might try scanning this so that I could use this again if I wished, because oh, and this is not these two birds and these two birds are are stamps, but I just love that. I love doing it, and I'm going to do more of it in 2020 because it is fun and it works well with what we do. At least I think so. And getting to the back now. Yes, we still haven't reached our little girl yet, but stenciling, some doodles, and the back. Again, the sponge, similar technique to what we had in the front. And here's the little girl in the back. And the back of the first, on November 1st, 2016. So, that's that one. Now, the evolution continues. The saga continues. Since I cut on this one, I thought I would cut here, so I cut out a witch's hat and did stenciling, painting in, and I added this. And here, wowzers! For the first time, I did collaging with bits of paper. I did painted background, stencils, painted the witch's hat, added a hatband, of course. And now I'm noticing that I've probably been introduced to pocketing. So here's a piece of, here's a piece of stamped Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist paper for here. And the same thing up in this top pocket. And I made a, this is probably my first ever, yes it is, it's stapled. I made my first ever tag. Oh, love it. Now, wow. Girl in change mode. This was a piece of, a page from a magazine, and vintage pieces, again, for tags. And I'm getting a little bit, you'll notice I'm getting a little fancier with the tags. And this is, boy, I'm enjoying this trip down memory lane. Ah, this is not, okay. The only thing in this pocket are these tags. So it's black paper, and this one I did not glue down. This one I actually used as a rub-on. Wow. And more, I remember eating those nasty candies. And so, and a piece of this, and I've used it on the cover of this journal, so I still had one left. And crepe paper that's on the front of this journal. You can see I keep things. And I experimented, and I remember holding my breath in hope that this bat would get down here and wouldn't come off in pieces, because I'm just not a genius with rub-ons. And a piece of writing paper that I sprayed, but of course, live and learn, it's upside down. That's okay. And a piece of a picture from a magazine. And look at this, probably my first flip ever. And a large, fat tag. And a piece of the magazine with the, and this is with pumpkins, and this is white pen. And just great fun. Carol going through changes in her interest in arts. This is a pocket with a piece of sprayed and stenciled. You know, this was a cleanup paper. I do believe it was. And so this is included in here. This is looks like more A.C. Moore. And just a pretty for in here, and I know it was in there before, maybe not. I think this needs to have a clip. So let's see if there's an orange one in here. Is there an orange one? Oh yes, there is. Life is good. Okay, there. And here, another flip. Isn't this something? And this time, I got it right. Miracles do happen. And now what have I got here? Oh, I'm in the big leagues now. This is a bag. And it's sprayed and stamped. Oh boy, I was starting to learn, wasn't I? Oh, and some sewing. I must have had my new sewing machine by then. And, oh wow, pocket. Thank you to all of the ladies that I watched who helped me to learn to do this. And this one, I don't know what about this little one, but I love it. It just tickles me. At the back, big piece of collage, and I added background, and that's a stencil. That's Carol. So, 2017, 2018. I changed my look last year. I wanted to get into dark, so here it is. This is a cluster of papers. This is a girl that I drew for a project when I first started, very first beginning of mixed media, and I was so tickled with this. I thank heavens that I kept it, and I was so proud of this when I did it, and to be honest, it still makes me happy. I'm glad that I have her. She was on vellum, so that the creepy stuff underneath her showed through. And so I'm so happy that I have her in here. And a piece of gray seam binding and some bling. Now what have we next? What have we next? Oh, okay. Pocket that's coming loose a little bit. I shall have to give that a little touch of right in place. Picture from a magazine turned into a tuck spot. She had a little gold here, so gold here, and I used my Jo Sonja gold for the stenciling, and the background is painted, that's black cherry, painted. And this one. Loving, loving, loving this one. Pocket. And one of the frames with a Christy Sobolewski girl. Some of the same ribbon that you see here. As you can see, I'm good at hoarding. I have one drawer that I keep for Christmas and one drawer for Halloween, and it's still producing. Look at those black feathers again, and a piece of fabric that I obviously pleated. I was looking for this one, and I didn't take the time this year, but I shall find that one again for next year. I love that fabric for this. What have we here? Oh, okay. Should this open in any way? No, this is just a pretty. And just bits of collage and bits of bits and some, oh, this is not sewing. This is stamp. I have to remember about those stamps. Oh yes, that's stamping. Huh. This is a long signature. I do hope some of you are still able to hang in there. Here's that napkin again, and here's another one of these that I had made for a trade that were left over, and these are black sequins and black beads and stitchery, and I thought that would work a treat right there. And here's another Day of the Dead image, and I put this one back here. What have we got here? And a piece of, there are, my. See, I do, Carol, the inner Carol likes this as the background for this sort of journal. And another little cluster. These are pictures from magazines. More. A whole piece here. And oh yes, I remember. On the edge of this, I put holes all the way down, and I wove, yes I did weaving. I just wove the thread through and back and tied it in the center. Wow, I'd forgotten about that. You're going to see that again, because that's neat. I like it. If she says so herself. And I know that you're saying that. This is sprayed paper in my spray box, and this I received as Happy Mail. And so, no better place than right there. And there it is again. You can see the holes and the stitching on the back. Oh, I am so going to do that again. Well, now these are just another dark black, gray-black background with some lighter gray, some gold stencil again, and some wee little, here's another thing. Oh my. Why did I forget about this for this year? I have it right here. What is it? Oh, yes. I'm going to be using this again if it has any life still in it. Tulip glitter. Crystal sparkles. Gives off a bit of a green color, but I was using that quite a lot, as you can tell by the contraption I put on the top here. Let's see if it still has any life in it. Let's see if this has any life left in it. I don't see how it would after all of these years. Well, at least it's 2. Oh, look at that. And when it dries, it sparkles. This I'm not going to forget. And I'm certainly not going to forget this again. Okay, so tulip glitter in the clothing and painting. T-shirts, think T-shirts and caps. There it is, unused and untouched. Okay, sorry, I was down a rabbit hole on that one. And here's another little bit out of a magazine. Faux stitchery. And I know those are in the box right behind me. It's nice to go down memory lane with your own stuff because this is, thread stitchery. And let's see, this is what it looks like. The sparkle. This is what it looks like. And in here, and here we come to 2019. I hope you've enjoyed visiting this journal with me today. And I congratulate anyone who has managed to go through the whole thing with me. If you have enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up, and I would appreciate you subscribing to my channel. Let's have a good tie up here. And a good close. And a pull over to here. And a good tie up. And pull, pull. And here we are. Bye now.